Greetings. My name is Joe Police, and I am an adjunct professor at CMC. I teach online courses. I teach for the developmental ed department, so I teach Math 050 and teach Math 055. I'm coming to you from my kitchen. I do everything that I do for CMC is solely online. So I think I go to campus maybe once or twice a semester. And I'm in Summit County, so I live in Breckenridge, and I go to the Breck or Dillon campus for like one of those orientation meetings every now and then, just to kind of keep my face around there. But I've never been to like the Glenwood campus or anything like that. I've actually never met I work, Karen Camerling is my boss. I've actually never met her. We just communicate on the phone and via email. So it's actually I really enjoy this gig. I enjoy the flexibility of an online class. Professionalism in an online setting kind of does go a little bit out the window. As you can see, I've just woke up. I don't have school this week. We're on our February break, but I've got family in town and a bunch of stuff going on. But was able to get this done. But I'm still in pretty much my PJs. I haven't showered, so I have my hat on. And I'm gonna go ski here in a little bit, and then gonna go do a couple things with my family. So it's good to have them in town and all that kind of stuff. But I wanted to do this in my PJs pretty much because this is how I conduct my work. I work whenever I want. It's kind of great. I really enjoy it. I do, wouldn't mind get to knowing some of you guys a little bit better, but I do feel as though it's a nice thing to have, nice option to have. So, I teach those courses at CMC. I started in the fall of 2017. I first started off teaching Math 050 and then jumped up to Math 055 and took that on as a class. So I teach those two classes as an adjunct, really enjoy it, really feel like I have a lot of success with, my methods, and we'll kind of go through that, what I do for my CMC classes and, how everything looks. I got into this whole thing of making videos back in 2012. I'm from Kansas City, as you can see from the hat, and I was very. I was a teacher in a suburb of Kansas City, and they were looking for a calc teacher. So I said, yeah, I'd love to teach calc. It'd be really fun. And so they let me, and I told them, I'm going to take calculus over the summer at the community college and, sit in on it. And I remembered before I taught calc, I had never really taught trig. I knew how to do trig. But I was like, I gotta like refresh myself on doing trigonometry. So I did what I used to do in college. I would take the book home, brought the book home over summer, and just sat down and started working on problems. And within a page of reading, I had more questions than I had answers. And as I realized, like 2 hours had gone by, and I've only gotten through one page. I have all these questions, and was not having much success. And I got kind of discouraged, and I'm like, man, this is going to take a long time. If I don't, figure this out in a faster manner, like this is going to be a pretty long summer. And so what I did then was I just Googled trigonometry, I did a YouTube search of trigonometry. And I mean, hundreds of videos popped up for like Khan Academy and other types of teachers and people that have made YouTube channels and stuff like that. And I started watching these videos, and what took me, I think I watched an hour's worth of videos, realized I had brushed up in an hour on all my trig facts, answered my questions immediately, and was able to what I thought was going to take 2 weeks took me about an hour. And I was just like, I was blown away. I couldn't believe what this was. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the wave of the future. I should start doing this. Fast forward about 3 years and I finally implemented it when I taught calculus. And I mean to tell you, the difference that I saw from students that were utilizing the videos was staggering. I really felt like students were learning at a pace that was unique to them. They would come into my class, and these are calc students. I mean, these are very bright high school students, and they would come in and they would say, "Hey, Joe, I got a question." I'm like, "Okay, what's your question?" And it wasn't the question of how do I do this. It's I'm confused on the step that you had from here to here on the homework because here's what I did, here's what I think I should be doing, and that was the kind of question I was asked, and that's how I spent my time, was answering specific questions. Okay, now I learned a lot in that first year. I then, after that first year of doing it, I actually moved out to Colorado, got a job in Frisco. I work at an alternative high school in Summit County called Snowy Peaks High School. And it's part of the public school system, and it's kind of students that need something different. I am one math teacher, well, there's 2.5 of us, but I teach everything from Math 8 up to Calculus, and I teach all those courses. And so the only way I can do that is if I've made videos and flipped all of those classes. So, what I've done from, and that's kind of how I got hooked up with this, is because I knew someone at the, we started teaching Math 050 and 055 at Snowy Peaks. And then, I got recommended. Someone was like, "Hey, if somebody can teach an online class, it might be this guy." And that's kind of how I got hooked up with it. And so I've done things like blended learning, flipped learning, those kinds of. I've become like certified in some of those things. There's programs out there I would look up to kind of get a better. I think this video will help you. But there's a ton of resources out there. John Bergman is kind of the flipped learning pioneer. And he can kind of, he'll be able to, there are like certifications and things that you can do to, become certified in flipped learning and all that good stuff. But, what I found was I had these set of skills, and then I could just be like, wait, I could do this, I could do this. I can apply it in a different way. Students can watch videos in class versus watching them outside of class. And so I took all these things that I had learned from doing blended learning and flipped learning and then moved into the online realm for CMC. And so, what I'm going to try and do in this video is kind of show you how I got started, breaking through some of those roadblocks that I had for a number of years, and kind of, giving you guys advice as far as, what my class looks like, how it runs, and what I do. So hopefully it's not too long of a video, but we'll see how it goes. But the cool thing is, hey, you got this as a link. You can watch this whenever you want. You can pause, you can rewind, do whatever you need. So it's pretty cool, and there will be some links down below in this video that will show you how, some other specific things that I do talk about as far as, how students are supposed to be a student in this type of class. So it's pretty cool. So, so this will be it from me and my face. Everything else will just kind of be on an iPad or a computer, and we'll go from there. So talk to you, see you in a bit. Okay, so the way that I develop my online courses is kind of unique. And what I found that works for me best is if I work backwards, okay? And what I do is I first write all my exams and choose my exam questions. And then what that will do is that will help me develop my homework problems from the books. And then I look at I then write out my homework solutions. And the reason why I write out my homework solutions, I share these with the students, and I'll show you that here in a second, what that looks like. And then it also helps me develop my notes, because after I do the homework solutions, that's when I write the notes for that section to really make my notes as concise as possible. And then I record my videos on top of the notes last, okay? And you know, this kind of planning does take a lot of time up front. When I would develop these courses, I would take pretty much a whole summer to do so. And I'd really look at everything. All of these components were very important. And once I had the notes dialed in, then I could just, you know, teach on my video, you know, make my videos and teach. So, but the beauty of it is that once you do this once, just like anything with education, takes a lot of time up front, but then it will pay dividends with your time later. I want to say I spent probably 120 hours-ish developing my courses. Some of these I truly started from scratch. And then, you know, I think every semester now, I think getting ready for the courses and putting them on Canvas takes about, gosh, maybe I think 5 hours total for both classes that I teach. So it really is efficient. And so, you know, that's what I got. All right, let's take a look in Canvas to show you what my students see when they're in Canvas. Okay, so while we're in the computer screen, I'm currently acting as a test student. But what I want to do is kind of show you what my Canvas looks like and to go from there. So, you know, you have your home. This is where we're at. I can go to my announcements and I can, I'm going to go in here real quick to talk about my initial one. And so I have my orientation video. No, this is a video on how to navigate Canvas. And kind of just has, some general information. So this will get students working on Canvas and get them logged on. A lot of them already know how, but that's that. And then, this is what I do. So every week I try to communicate with them. And I don't think I have the other videos in there. All right, so sorry, let me go back through. So the announcements are just weekly things that I send out to students. I email them the same thing. I put it on here. But then I go into modules. And so I have each module set up. I don't know what this button means. Oh, this assignment. So these are all late assignments. And so I have each week, okay? And the first one I had was an introduction discussion, just to kind of get students, talking to each other and that kind of stuff. But if I go back, I have them do the syllabus orientation. And this is really important. So they download this orientation thing and this PDF, and I have them go through this assignment. So this video right here is my orientation video. These videos down here are videos designed on how to use Google Drive and YouTube. So, again, I made these once. I keep reusing them. I just changed the video for my orientation because that does change. And I'll have the link for that video in the comments of this current video that you're watching, and then also, emailed to Tracy White. So, and that's that. All right. So then the next assignment that they have to do, and so when they look at this, if they go in and they submit the assignment, they're being asked to add a file. Okay. And so I guess they can also use Google Drive, but their file upload, they just using, what's it called? Like a PDF. All right. So I showed them how to do that in these couple videos here and how to use Google Drive and what that looks like. Let me go back to modules. I'm going to leave this. Okay. Then I have them do an orientation thing where they record themselves. And so in this assignment, please make an attempt to record yourself talking. You don't have to do any math, but introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about yourself. The reason for this is to practice the process of submitting a video and submitting this assignment. So when you go into this one, they can do a website URL. They can upload media. They can also just straight up record into this. But then this Google Drive thing is kind of nice. I didn't know that was masquerading. Okay, so that doesn't work. Okay, let's go back to modules. I'm going to leave. When they get to here, the CMC Math 055 notes, if I look at I'm gonna open these notes up just so that you guys can see what this looks like. It's a pretty big file. These are the notes for the entire course, okay? So I wanted to make sure that, you know, day one, boom, here are all your notes. And as you go through this, you know, this is what the students have available to them, and then this is also what I write. I import these into my iPad, and students see this, and I can just write directly on top of this page. It's pretty slick, pretty cool. But that's that. All right. What else? Let's go into here. So each section has the following. You have a notes component, you have a homework component, and you have a recording yourself component. When I grade the notes and the homework, I'm just grading to see if you did it. I just take a quick glance at it, make sure that it's the right section, that you're submitted at the right spot, and we're good. So I'm going to go into the notes component. Please watch the following video and take notes like you did for the orientation video. Then scan the notes in and as a PDF and turn it in. So when they go and submit their assignment, that's what they do. All right, so that video will pop up, and this is what they see. So, you know, as I go through this, you can kind of see, you know, the different things that I write, and then that's also what they write, all right? And so, not gonna play that video, but that's that. Then there's a homework component. And in the homework component, please do all this assigned problems for homework, scan the document in as a PDF, yada, yada, yada. Below are the homework solutions. Please use this document to help you understand how to do the homework. Do not just copy. And, you know, cheating is a real thing. And so, you know, they can open this up. They can see my solutions here that I just did on paper and then scanned them in, okay? So from there, let me go to the next assignment, which is the recording yourself. So please make a video of yourself doing the 4 problems below. Think of this like teaching me how to do the problems. Tell me what the question is asking you to do, walk me through how to do the problems, explain how you know that you are correct. So they have to do these problems on video. Once they do all that, then they just submit that video up here, okay? And so if I look at my grades, I don't know if that's gonna show me anything. I don't know if it's going to even show me. Anywho, the notes and the homework, that accounts for 15% of my grade. The recording yourself, that is a that's going to be 25% of their grade, and then tests and exams are going to be 60% of the grade. So that's how I weight it. I make sure that my recording yourself has a pretty big chunk because I think it's really important. Let's go quickly back to modules. You know, what we have here, all right, I do a take-home test. And so I got to change this up because the dates are wrong. You'll see the test here. I don't keep it up there all the time. I just have it for a specific, you know, week or whatever. But please print the PDF, answer all the questions, leave all answers in fraction form, and then turn it in as a single PDF. It is due by a specific date. I'm kind of flexible on this, but I try to have no exceptions. Things come up. That's the beauty of an online course, okay? And you can, and I also let them do exam correction, similar to what they do on the video, the recording yourself assignments. So they have a chance to make sure that they learn it, but they don't have, so they won't have that on the final exam. Okay, so as I'm looking through this, okay, so I have 2 take-home exams, and then I have 2 exams that are proctored, and so I'm gonna find what week it is. Exam 2 midterm. This assignment will house the score of your midterm exam. So they have to have their midterm and their final exam proctored at a CMC location. And so this is the true demonstration of knowledge. But just having that weekly demonstration of knowledge comes from the recording yourself assignment. So. But yeah, I go in and I have everything due on Thursdays. So this week, tonight, we're doing chapter 4, and so hopefully get all those going. Next week we have our first exam, and the reviews and all that. The exam reviews and other discussions can be found on the lab course that I do. But I also do a couple of discussions sprinkled in here, non-math related discussions. So just to kind of build that community in, now that you are a week into the course, please describe your method of recording. What types of roadblocks did you encounter? Please be specific in your response and tell the class what type of technology you are dealing with. So these discussions, I do find them to be helpful. I do have math ones, like specific ones where, I'll even make a video and ask ask a discussion question based off of a video that I make. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, so that's kind of what Canvas looks like for me. And they just start each week and they just have to work chronologically and get through all this. It is a lot. And that is something that you have to, preface with your students, is that the amount of time that is required for an online math course is pretty significant. Okay, so, but yeah, let's go back and into my iPad, and we will talk about some other things that are associated with my online class. Okay, so one of the things you're probably wondering is how to make videos. This is a very, very complicated question. I don't have a direct answer for you. What you have to do is you have to do a method that works for you, okay? Me figuring out how to make videos on the iPad, which I'll talk about here in a second, that took me a good year and a half to kind of figure out what I wanted to do and how I was going to do it. I would look at what other teachers did on YouTube. Khan Academy uses his own, Saul Khan uses his own thing. Everybody, when they make videos, they make them differently. I just found a method that works for me, okay? And what I use this thing called the Explain Everything app on the iPad with headphones, okay? So, I'm an Apple guy, so I got pretty much everything Apple. The cool thing about Apple is on those standard headphones that you get, they come with a microphone in the headphones. So when I first started making videos, I struggled with figuring out how do I have good sound and good video and good audio, all that good stuff. And I got tipped off that I should just use my headphones because it comes with a natural headphone, okay? And what I can do with this program, I can import a PDF into this program and write on top of it. And that's what I did here. This little CMC logo I found on the internet, pasted it in. You have different layers. If you ever worked with Photoshop or anything like that, this thing is kind of similar. And so this Colorado Mountain College thing doesn't move. It's locked. So I can zoom. Well, it didn't work. I can kind of move things around and zoom in and zoom out, and this shouldn't change where it's at. That took me just a couple of minutes to put that in. And then I actually typed all this stuff out prior to making the video. You can type directly into this app, but I made a PDF and I just imported the PDF straight onto here, and then I can write. I can write whatever I want. F of x equals 3x plus 2. And I can move that around. I can go back. I can erase it. It's pretty cool what you can do with this. But in any case, this is what I use to make my videos. You never see my face when I make these videos. Usually, I have that ability to. But I'm going to be honest with you. When I'm currently, as I'm making this video, I haven't showered yet, and I don't look great. So, it is what it is. I can just, and that's the beautiful thing is that working from home and doing this job from home. I'm not on. I don't. I do it from my couch. I do it from the car. I do it from wherever. We'll talk kind of more about that. But in any case, that's what I do. This is the important thing, is the ability to kind of have the PDF to be able to write on top of it. That's how my notes work. What I use, the one thing that you want to do when you're making a video is you want to be able to utilize Google Drive or AirDrop to a computer. Depending on what you use, these are your file management systems that I use that work the best. I make my videos on my iPad and I AirDrop them to my computer, and then I store them on Google Drive. So they're in the cloud, and then once I do that, I can upload them to YouTube, all right? And the reason why I do a YouTube link, again, is because Canvas restricts your file sizes if you're trying to upload something. So if you just upload a link, all right, I can store everything on YouTube and on Google Drive, have a backup, and then make playlists and just submit those links into Canvas for my students. Okay, so one of the ways you can do this, you can certainly, if you have an iPad, if you have some sort of tablet device, I think that works the best as far as making videos. You will want to do your research on this. I think at this point, Explain Everything has like a monthly subscription. I've had it for like 7 years, and I got it when it was $5. And they never make me, pay a monthly thing. But if I had to, I would. It's okay to do that. The other thing that you can do is you can actually just hold your phone, use your phone and hold it over a piece of paper or whiteboard and write on top of that and just record it from there. If you have a way to prop up your phone with like some sort of like tripod or something like that, that might work too. I've kind of tried that before and didn't have much success, but there are things out there that will allow you to do that. The other thing that you can do is you can use a webcam, prop it up on a desk or a set of books, and then teach at the board in a classroom like on campus to make your videos. Okay. One thing that you really want to make sure you do is you make your video short and to the point. Remember, it's the last thing that you do. So you want to develop this stuff so that it's concise. The students get what they need, and that's that. You don't want to leave any holes, but you don't want to have a bunch of fluff, and you don't want to sit there and take 5 minutes to tell a story. Which is something that I would typically do in a math class. And so you just make it to the point, all right? Make them short. And usually, my rule of thumb, again, this is what works for me, but if I were to be at the board teaching in a 60-minute class period, that's the same thing as 20 minutes of video. And that's what I found. When I'm teaching in front of people, I'm gauging the room. Do you need more explanation? All that good stuff. It is what it is. That's what I find. That could be different for anybody, but that's just kind of how I do it. Make sure that when you do make your videos that you have consistent naming with like unit and section numbers, however you want to do that, but make sure that all your videos have a consistent name. Mine always say like, CMC, math, 055, Unit 2, Section 1, whatever. Or Unit 2, Section 1. All right, it kind of just depends. However you want to write that. But that is how I name my videos. And then, it's easy for me to access them using Google Drive for video storage. And then again, use YouTube to post the videos onto Canvas. The other thing is that, once you get into this, because I'll talk more about other videos that you'll need to make, you want to be able to make different kinds of videos, okay? So learn the various ways to make videos. So I can make instructional videos on the iPad, which is what I'm currently doing. Sometimes I make announcement videos, and instead of me writing a long-winded email, I just make a video of myself using my webcam on my computer. And then I'll use videos to help them navigate Canvas and Google. And so like combinations of things. So like, this current video, I'm using my iPad. I'm using my webcam for a different part of this. I'm also doing a screenshot of my computer, which you saw earlier. And so I'm doing a bunch of combinations. What I then do is I take all of those videos and I put them into iMovie, which is just very basic editing. A lot of this stuff is pretty intuitive, but it is important that you have some of those skills and that you learn those kinds of things. Again, guys, do a method that works for you, okay? I will say, like writing on a tablet, it takes time. And you notice, like down here, this looks like crap. It doesn't look that good, but the way that this is, because I'm not writing that much and I'm just pretty much talking over this video, is because my iPad right now is propped up. And so it's not on my table, and if it was, I could write a little bit better. All right, and you guys can check out my YouTube page and and look at the videos and see how I do things to see what they look like. But it's a very similar format to this. Okay, so one thing to consider: these courses don't run unless you physically teach students how to do everything. So what I've done is I've made an orientation video. And Tracy White has the link to that. It's also in the comments of this video. And so, you can look at that and see how I do things. And what I do is I make an intro, I introduce myself, I explain to them how the class works. I have a section of this where I show them physically how to take notes in this class, how to use the videos, how to stop, rewind, pause, all that good stuff. In that, I show them how to upload a PDF for their homework and their notes. I show them how to make videos and upload them. So I go through all those things I just showed you on the last one, and it's like, use whatever works for you. If you want to use a tablet, use a tablet. If you want to use your webcam, or if you want to use your phone, that's what I do. And I encourage them to use their phone when they make the videos, and I'll talk about that here in a second. I show them how to use Google Drive and YouTube and how to transfer files from from one device to the next using Google Drive. And then lastly, I go over the syllabus. That's in here. It's intermixed somewhere in here. But the syllabus, every semester I re-record that because the syllabus changes, but everything else doesn't. So what I do, guys, is I make a video and I make snippets of all these videos, save them, and then reuse these every semester. So I don't re-record this, but then I do re-record the syllabus part every semester and then just export it, put it into iMovie and make it work. I do stress, because it's an online class, this rule for like 3 hours, working 3 hours per credit hour is very, very, very important. If they're not spending time on it, they quickly fall behind, and man, it's, that they could fall behind, and it's not good. All right, let's talk about the next thing. All right, so I want to talk about the recording yourself assignments. one of the things that I had an idea for assessing students was this thing of students recording themselves doing it. And what I realized was, if you can teach it, then you know it. And I really believe in this. When I was an undergrad at the University of Kansas, I was really struggling in a lot of my math classes. And once I started teaching the Math 055 equivalent at the University of Kansas, I really, the light bulb went off. And I was like, I just connected all the dots and was able to pass all my classes and graduate. So I truly believe in the power of teaching. And so, but what the students have to do is they have to make videos, and that's their demonstration of knowledge. And so I encourage them to use their cell phone, hold it above and have it as they write, because the only requirements that I have for my videos is that I need to hear the student's voice and see them writing. And that will allow and I just go through it, I watch it. If they get it right, awesome. If they don't, then they redo it until they get it correctly. So, and so I want to talk more about, the benefits of this. But I really, truly believe that this is the most important part of my online math courses, because they're the ones that have to do the work. And they got to show me. So it's pretty cool. I'm getting a lot of, I get the biggest bang for my buck by doing this. And I'll kind of show you what that looks like over the next slide. Okay, so one of the things that I talk about in the video, in my orientation video that I do encourage you guys to watch, is about the benefits of the online course and of these specific online courses. So my time, I want you to think about something. I did all this stuff on the front end. The classes start, I have them watch these videos, and then my time is utilized giving individual help. Oftentimes that's specifically through office hours, during office hours through WebEx, so it's virtual, but I answer specific questions, okay? And I don't sit there and teach the same thing over and over and over again. Everything is tailored to their needs. If you want to talk about differentiation, this is how you do it. Truly, because every student gets what they need and at a different pace. Some students can go through the videos really quick and they're like, oh yeah, this makes sense, this is great. Others have to stop, pause, rewind, and go back through. And they'll email me with questions and I can just answer them. And it's not like I sit there during class and go, no, does anybody have any questions? Which just doesn't, for me, it doesn't work. But what this is like, and I consistently say to them, if you have questions, ask. It is your job to ask me questions, and it is my job to answer them. So that's what's really cool, is that I don't deal with that daily grind of what questions do you have? It's up to them to do that. And so the other cool thing is that students learn at their own pace. We do have weekly deadlines. I take late work. That's a personal preference of mine. I come from a place where, man, either you do the work or you don't. We got to do it by the end of the semester, and we got to try and keep pace. And if you don't keep pace, it's going to be a lot harder. But I create weekly deadlines, and if they don't meet those deadlines, then I put in zeros, and then when they turn it in a few days later, I give them the grade back. Okay? Students take ownership of their learning. This is probably the biggest thing, because I think of that phrase of, I can teach it to you, but I can't learn it for you. And students, this is the model where they have to do it themselves, and they have to own it. And if they don't, they're not doing anything, Okay. A lot of work up front. The benefit of that is that, once that work is done, then you're just cruising. and it's great. And you make tweaks here and there, and you got maybe want to re-record a video here and there, but that, you're not, I'm not sitting here doing a ton of work. Okay, so what I do is I grade and communicate with email or phone calls, and I'll have students that are like, hey, I'm really struggling with this, and I'll email them and I'll call them and be like, what's going on? How do I help? Do you want to meet for office hours? Do you want me to send you a video that's just for you? It's whatever they need and whatever they want. So I don't know. It's pretty cool. Like, I like how my time is spent because I'm not sitting in front of a class teaching the same thing twice a day or 3 times a day. It's more of what do you have? What are your questions and how can I help? Have them problem solve, and you try and teach them all those skills. Okay. The other thing, if you buy into this, then you will see results. You have to. If you're resistant to this kind of change, that's up to you. I just realized that making videos and having students learn from videos solves the majority of my problems as a teacher. And that's that. The other cool thing with my online gig is that I can work when I want and when I can. I teach full time at a high school, so I don't rarely ever get any time during the day to do my CMC job. And so sometimes it's early in the morning, it's late at night, but the coolest thing, oh my gosh. So one time I was down in Denver and my girlfriend had to go to the mall, and it was one of those like, I need to get back because I have like a crap ton of videos to grade and a bunch of things I had to do. And there is a Canvas teacher app that allows me to do all of this on my phone, and it is really cool. Okay, so here's a couple screenshots. This is kind of what my life looks like. I've developed the concept of the split screen on my computer, which if you aren't using, that is awesome. But on this side, it's, here's a video that I'm watching a student, and it's a YouTube video that they submitted. And then here's my answer key for me to just kind of check their work to see if they're doing things right. And sometimes they'll do problems differently, and it still works and it's still good. Over here, I have another student. This student got a number of things wrong, and I can zoom in here real quick for you to see how I do this. So on the second problem, you should get no solution as your answer. Remember that those lines have the same slope and are parallel, so they won't intersect. On the third problem, you should get an answer of -2, 0. Remember that you can graph by using the x and y intercepts. Please redo this for full credit. That's the other thing, folks. I am very, I am more interested in them learning the material over time than getting it right the very first time. They're going to make mistakes. They have to learn from those mistakes. So I give them the opportunity to make these corrections and do that. So, yeah. So that's kind of it. As I, make this video, hopefully I'm not leaving anything out, and you may have some additional questions. So if you do have additional questions, please don't hesitate to email me, and we can either communicate via email, or we can set up a time to meet via phone or via WebEx or something like that. During the day, I am tied up at my other job, so usually I'm available in the evenings and during the weekends and stuff. So that's that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it is kind of an eye-opener for you and gives you some insight as to just something that's different and something, it works, but you got to buy into it, and it's got to be something that you believe in. So, if you have any questions, please reach out, and look forward to chatting with you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.